All right. Welcome. We are live here. It is the weekend, but we're here. Welcome. So yes, today we're going to be talking about whether we should be using desktop or cloud. Welcome. Is that Moritz? Welcome. So, all right. Welcome. It is Saturday. All right, so we're going to dive right into this and make it really quick because I know you are taking away time from your family and your weekend activities. And actually here for me, it looked like it want to rain. I think it is raining. So I thought I would do this Periscope really quickly and share with you guys some information around whether we should be doing desktop or cloud computing with our accounting systems, because that is a big decision that a lot of people have to make. So jumping right in, again, welcome to my live viewers, replay viewers. Welcome to you as well as those of you on the web. Welcome. Definitely, if you're feeling what I'm sharing, I always ask you to share it with someone else that's in business. I know you have a business best bud or something like that that could probably use this information too. So spread the wealth of information, share it with at least one person. Share this information. You can do that by sharing it with your Twitter followers. You can do it through your Facebook community. And actually, you can do it right here in your app. So all you have to do is, click down there at the bottom left, swipe, and hit the button. It's that simple. And of course, if you're feeling what I'm saying, give me some hearts. I appreciate that. It lets me know that I'm on track. And you can always ask questions at the end if you have any questions, or reach out to me. So I always leave the door open for that. All right, so who am I? I'm Felicia Streeter over at dreamforself.com. And what we actually do, or what I do over there, is I help you entrepreneurs track your money and keep more of the money that you make, so that we're making sure that you are maximizing your profits. All right, so that's what we do. How do I do that? I do that by providing bookkeeping services as well as bookkeeping training. So I also do training to show you how to do your own bookkeeping, or clients send in their bookkeeper to be, and I train them on how to do that for their company. All right, so that's what I do. So diving into the content today, we're talking about which accounting software system you should use, whether that's desktop-based or cloud-based computing. So we're going to do compare and contrast today, actually, and see which model is best for you. So each individual, it's really just based off of what you want to get. So I'm going to give you the comparing and contrasting, and then they'll help you make a better educated decision on which system you would like to get. All right. So, of course, some of the software systems that's out there really big is QuickBooks. And I do a lot of training around QuickBooks. And so that's one option you have. The other one is Wave Computing, which is a cloud-based. And QuickBooks, by the way, has the desktop version as well as cloud-based. Again, Wave is cloud-based and FreshBooks is cloud-based. And there's others out there. I could give you a long laundry list, so you can always search and find others. But those are some of the top ones, and Xerox is a top one as well. Okay. Now, before I give you the compare and contrast, well, let me do the compare and contrast, and then I want to leave you with something to ponder as you're making your selection. Okay. So when we look at feature rich, how many bells and whistles, different bells and whistles do each one have? Well, the desktop win that hands down, because the desktop version has more bells and whistles and features, because it's been around longer. Now, that does not mean that you need all those features, but they do have more bells and whistles and things like that. So you just have to decide, what you prefer in that area. And to be honest, desktop-wise, a lot of those extra bells and whistles you probably wouldn't use anyway. So, but they have more features. Now, as far as ownership, you look at the software. So if you buy the desktop version, then you brought it, you own it, you have ownership. Where with the cloud-based, you're usually paying a monthly fee, so you don't particularly or really have ownership of it. Okay, you're paying a monthly fee to use that cloud-based accounting system. The other piece is you may want to look at the data. And so you could say, well, do I really own the data? Whereas with the cloud-based, it's on your computer. You have that access to it, right? No one else do. So all of the data is housed on your computer or within your server, okay? Whereas with the cloud-based, it's really out there in the cloud on the server of that particular software system that you're using, okay? So that's a different there. Now, the next thing to consider is file corruption. So if you've been around a while, you've been using computers, you know that file corruption happens more than we like to admit and more than we like to actually even realize, because when it happens, it's like really, really ugly, and I've had it happen, and it doesn't feel good. I can tell you that off the rip. It doesn't feel good. So with the desktop version, you are open to file corruption, and so what happens is with the file corruption is it's gone. It's gone. Now you may have a backup, but whatever was on that computer there is gone. And possibly if your backup is on that same computer, it may be gone, just depending on what goes on with the computer and the file corruption, okay? Now with the cloud-based, you don't have to worry about file corruption, because again, it's in the cloud. 9 times out of 10, if something happens with that server, which it rarely happens, if it does, they usually have a backup somewhere where they can bring it back, okay? Program updates. With the desktop versions, you usually have to, you don't have to, but as new updates come available, you have to pay for those. So there is a fee, a price associated with that. Where usually with their cloud-based, as updates come up, you just automatically get the updates, okay? Security. And a lot of people, if they have the desktop version, I can tell you that they are slacking, and don't have the security that they need for their computer system, for their server, to make sure it does not get hacked and things like that. Cloud-based, you don't have to worry about that, because the accounting system software company take care of that, and they usually have pretty good security in that area. Privacy. Privacy is, it's on your desktop. Again, only whoever you give access to, especially if you have a password, they're the only ones that have access to it. Versus in the cloud, it is in the cloud, but I have to say, I haven't had any problems in 10, 15 years with using cloud-based. And again, they make sure the security and things are like in place to make sure that, you know, no one's accessing your stuff except for the people that you give access to. Accessibility, hands down, cloud-based win that, right? Because you can access it from anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection, you can log into the system and access it. So it's kind of like if you're using Gmail, where your accounting software, if you have it in the cloud, it's the same way. As long as you have internet access, you can access it from anywhere in the world. Yeah. Backups. Backups you have to do manually if you have the desktop version, and most people forget to do this. I can tell you. And then if you're backing it up to the same computer, if something happens to the computer, well, guess what? You lost the software system and you lost the backup files. So that's not really helping. All right, so look at how you plan to back it up if you're going to get the desktop version. In the cloud-based, you don't have to worry about it, because it's all automatically something, again, that they take care of, making sure that your files are always backed up and up to date. Tech support. This is one where a lot of people forget, and they don't think about this, especially if you're not, how do I want to say this? If this is not your area of genius, but you're deciding to do your books yourself, then you may need some tech support from time to time. I'm just going to be honest with you. And also, I mean, sometimes you just may have questions about that particular software itself. Not that you don't even know bookkeeping, you just may have some general techie questions within the software. And so tech support with the desktop, a lot of times, and don't quote me on a time frame, but it could be, you know, where you may get 30 days of support or something like that when you buy the software system as a desktop version. Whereas with the cloud-based, in most cases, tech support comes with it, or if it does not, it's usually at a much, much more cheaper cost. Because I believe, and again, don't quote me on this, but I think one of my clients is using a older version of QuickBooks, maybe a couple years old, and I think they had some question, something techie was going on, and they were upgrading computers, whatever it was. It wasn't something with the software system per se, like how to use it, but how to make a change to it or something. And so they wanted to call tech support, and it was going to cost, I think they said like $125 for an hour or something like that. So you can see that it can be costly calling tech support if you don't have that built in with your program or package. Now, as you're picking whether to go with desktop or cloud-based, I want you to think about one thing, and whether you decide to go with QuickBooks, Wave, or FreshBooks, or Xerox, or one of the, I mean, there's so many out there. Whatever you choose to go with, think about this as you're, oh, I had a message. Hold on. I'm going to mark that as complete. Probably another one's going to pop up. But think about this as you're making your selection. Don't buy the accounting software system based off of where your business is today. When I'm helping people in their bookkeeping, getting it set up, picking systems and things like this, or when we're doing a training and they're deciding on what software system to use, whether desktop or cloud-based, don't think about where your business is today, but think about where you want your business to be in the next 3 to 5 years. You want to get an accounting system that will grow with you. Because here's what you don't want to have happen is every year you're upgrading or changing your software system, because then you're going to have to export from one system into the other, a new system. And I can tell you, you can export and import it, but it never balanced. I haven't had one time where it balances out correctly. So then you're going to have to do some reconciling of accounts to get everything back in balance. That's the reality. That has been my experience. Okay? And everybody export and import the same way. I'm just saying. So think about that. All right, so that was it. That's the tip I have for you guys today is which accounting system should you use, desktop or cloud-based? You decide. I gave you the pros and cons. There were several here. There's probably many, many more that you can consider. But at any rate, just think about the pros and the cons of each cloud-based or desktop, and then pick your selection based off of where you're taking your business in the next 3 to 5 years. Don't just think about today. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I would definitely, if you're watching this video, invite you to come reach out to me. One of the first things you always want to do in setting up your system, and if you've set it up, you want to go back and check and make sure it's done correctly, is make sure your categories, your account list is set up correctly to capture income as true income and expenses as they should be, to assure that you're tracking your money correctly, you're posting accurately, but more importantly, that you're maximizing your tax deductions and that you're not being overtaxed in the beginning on income that's not really true income to the business just because you've posted it coming into the business bank account. All right? So think about that. So if you need one, reach out to me. I am creating those, a customized list based off of a 15-minute conversation with you. Yeah, I'm that good. I'm that girl. I can make it happen that quick. All right. So I create the list for you, and then you can go back and update it. All right. So until Monday, we'll be back here on Monday with another video for you, another bookkeeping tip. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Monday. I'm Felicia Streeter over at Dream for Self, where we help you track your money, keep more of the money you make, and make sure you're maximizing your profits. All right? Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye-bye.